Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Not a Pro Gardener here. The weather today, it's about 58 degrees this morning. It's nice and chill this morning, and there's a reason why we're out here early in the AM. We are in zone 6B. Today we are going to be direct seeding our bush beans, summer squash, you know, the warm season style crops that we have left over to plant. But first we have to take care of something very dangerous if we just ignored it and let it just keep going. The weeds. The weeds can overtake you if you don't be proactive. Instead of being reactive, you can be proactive and weed on a regular basis, have kind of a schedule going. We're going to be specifically targeting some white thread stage weeds. Are going to be the best time to take them out, because they're really small, spindly, and if you cultivate them then, there will be more of a chance that you take them out early. How are we going to do that? Oh, well, we got this cultivator we're going to show them how we use it. Yeah, it's kind of a new thing. You'll get used to it. Well, I'll just show you. All right, everybody, from Tine Tillage. These are 9-inch set implements, one on each side I have here. And with these, you can take out essentially white thread stage weeds before they come up. I've had a chance to test it 2 times, and it works. I think it works really good, and I'll show you why after a while. This is how we can weed early without digging too deep into our garden before the weeds get too big and cumbersome to deal with. You want to cull them as early as possible. So essentially what this thing's going to do is, it works better the faster you go, as I've heard, as these rods, they vibrate back and forth as you go down your row. And the way I do it is I go down the row and then come back up the same spot I just went through, and it covers a pretty wide area. I had it set up to straddle my rows of where my crops are. I tried that twice and it worked pretty good. The only problem is if you cannot keep your implement straight, almost would take out smaller crops like these. It's really supposed to be for when they're a little bit bigger and established, but my transplant aren't quite established just yet. They just put in the ground maybe a week ago or so. Just had to test it out, and I think it's doing pretty good so far. So let's go ahead and get the garden weeded with this thing. Another thing is I like to weed this early in the morning because the ground is still a little bit wet. It's like got a little dampness to it, and that's when you want to use this thing, because you can't use it. It won't work successfully if the ground is too wet, and it won't work successfully if the ground is too dry. And if it does, there's a few troubleshooting things, like if you see that there's nothing but scratches in the ground and there's lines going through your row where you're cultivating, it's too wet. So it kind of has its sweet spot. And so far, if it keeps the weeds out, I enjoy it because it only goes down maybe a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch deep, maybe. The only problem is you got to keep it held up on this end of the eox. Almost like it needs a gauge wheel of some sort, which I have contacted them about that. So hopefully we can get something going in the works here. But as you can see, this is the tine weeder. So let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so there's something I want you guys to check out here. So as you can see, let's see if I can get you in close here. Can you see those threads or roots catching on all of these tines? That's just with one pass. Hopefully you can see that. Can you see all those roots and stuff caught on there? That weed right there that's caught on there? That's just with one pass. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean these off and I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna do a couple more passes. Okay, so this is what I was gonna show you. This is the proofs in the pudding kind of thing right here. See all these white thread stage weeds? The roots of weeds and stuff caught on these tines. They all have them. Some more than others. This is what's caught on there. All of these roots and hairs of white thread stage weeds and stuff. Pull that off of there. This is what gets caught on those tines. So in my opinion, it culls them white thread stage weeds. Because as you can see, they all got them hairs on them. They're all collecting debris, white thread stage weeds, and the roots of other weeds seem to be collecting on it. Now, as you can see in the videos that the tines were vibrating back and forth, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. So we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of this stuff done, and then we're gonna get to the direct seeding. So let's get to it. Now that we got that done, we are going to try to use this implement 2 times a week to see if it works to lower my weed seed bank. Now, as I showed you those white thread stage weeds or roots of the weeds on them tines, that to me, and seeing the vibration in the slow-mo video, shows me that it's doing what it's supposed to do. Now, I'm not a professional at using this thing yet, and I am definitely wanting to use it a lot before I start talking about how things work. But if it's already picking up what looks like roots in the ground, then I think it's working. I mean, it's, where else would it get the roots from? I mean, there's nothing else growing there, you know, but weeds. So I think that it's going to be a very important piece of equipment here on the homestead, and we're definitely going to keep you updated on that. Now, we got the drip irrigation running on these next 3 lines. That's going to be our summer squash, the zucchini, we also have some bush beans and stuff available to be put in these next 2 rows. So we got 1 row of the summer squash, zucchini, then we got the bush beans and the bush beans. So we'll talk about the varieties when we get there. We're just waiting on the drip lines to start putting up some water so we can see that emitter spacing. And then once we see that, we're going to go ahead and get to it. Now, the reason we want to get this done is because it's supposed to rain here in a couple hours. It's supposed to like have a little storm this weekend, and this is early Saturday morning, okay? On the 15th, this is when we're getting these direct seeded. I don't know when my planner has it in there that I'm supposed to have them direct seeded, but I think that the weather is good enough, and one night we're going to have around 40 degrees. So the tomatoes are going to be next after these guys to get planted. I'm going to wait just a hair bit longer for them. And all the days have been like 70 to 77 degrees during the day, all for the last couple days into the next 10-day forecast. So I'm pretty sure they'll be fine. So we're going to go ahead and get those guys direct seeded. All right, everybody. So while we're waiting for this drip tape to emerge where the emitter spacing is, we are going to just talk about the varieties we're going to put in, how many in the row, and we got a little tip here. Have you tried this stuff before? This Sluggo Plus? This stuff right here is bait for cutworms, kills earwigs, pill bugs, slugs, snails, and sow bugs. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people have problem with cutworms. This is what I use as a proactive, not a reactive solution. I mean, this stuff is OMRI listed. It's organic. It's pretty good stuff. Now what you do is you just scatter it out at whatever rate that you see fit. Now I just take a handful and just throw it around my plants, okay? So every 2 weeks for the first month of whenever I'm starting to plant all this stuff, I can see all the bugs burrowing out of the ground. I can see the bugs coming out. I get this stuff out, okay? I throw a big handful of it around all these rows that I got in the ground because I don't want nothing messing with those. And also around hosta plants, you know, stuff like that. And in the raised bed garden around all my leafy greens, especially stuff that you densely plant together, the slugs will get in there and you don't want that. So I just throw a handful of this stuff around all the plants, and I make sure to feed it heavily with these things. And this bait attracts them to this and not your plants, and it gets them before they even touch your plants. It's pretty good stuff. Now this is what I use as a preventative to have problems. Not saying it's a fix-all, but it definitely helps. So when I plant all this stuff and I put all this hard work in, I put this stuff out about a week after it's been in the ground, because I'm seeing all these bugs come out of the ground, stuff like that. So I usually throw a couple handfuls of this around, scatter it pretty good. And sometimes I throw a little bit extra out where I have more where I have more bug problems at, which is mostly raised beds, you know, stuff like that. So the leafy greens are a big one, and that's why I have this stuff, because it works pretty darn good now. All right, so we're going to show you the varieties of the squash that we're going to be planting, okay? We're going to do 10 of each in this 30-foot row. That's going to be a foot apart. What we got going on here first will probably be the partial eclipse squash. It's a 45-day to maturity. It is a hybrid scallop squash variety with beautiful markings and even better flavor. The fruits are pale white when young, and when they're mature, they're a light yellow color with radial green stripes. They're best to harvest 3 to 4 inches in diameter. I've never grown none of these before, so I'm pretty excited about it. I usually just grew like, you know, Delta squash or the zucchini, you know, stuff like that. I'm just kidding. Zucchini. We definitely like our summer squash here, okay? It's a pretty quick meal, side dish for dinner on every other night. And we plant them thick like this because we want to get smaller harvests, not the bigger ones when they get woody. And sometimes we'll still get those, you know, if it rains really heavy for a couple days and we can't get out there. That's when the big ones come into play, you know. So it's not like we don't do that. It's just I just don't want them as much. I would rather have the smaller ones. Now, to the next variety here. Now, we got a spineless supreme zucchini. Zucchini? Is that how you say that? Zucchini? It's 45 days to maturity. It is a hybrid green zucchini with outstanding disease resistance and completely spineless plants. You know those little prickly things that whenever you go to harvest, they make you want to scrape your skin off? So it's easier harvesting on you, and it's great if you have little ones around that like to help out in the garden. You can let them go harvest them. That's a big one for me. I like to let the kids harvest these because they don't get those little pricklies in their arms or hands, you know, stuff like that. All right, so another one we got is the slick pick squash. 50 days to maturity. This one is back. I think I've grown this for 3 years in a row because it's such a producing fruit, okay? So this is a hybrid yellow squash variety that was originally developed at the University of New Hampshire. This variety produces early and often, heavy yielding and beautiful fruits. Harvest fruits at 8 inches long for optimal size, and excellent variety for small scale market farm. Now, in my experience, I have planted 15 of these in a row before, and I had so many of them I didn't know what to do with them because they just produce. They just go, you know, which is one of the reasons why I like them. So we're definitely gonna have this garden theme as like garden side dishes every night. One night's gonna be greens, one night's gonna be probably mixed vegetables from the squash, tomatoes, stuff like that. Some bush beans I'm sure will go in there, and we're definitely gonna can a bunch of bush beans because we're about out. So, and the next one will be broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, and collards. You know, I think we're doing pretty good. So we got spinach on the way. I'm gonna be harvesting this here soon, and let's go check on the garden. I think we got these water spots probably going now. All right, everybody, so this first row, we're going to be doing these partial eclipse squash. You want to plant these about a ½ an inch deep. So I'm going to direct seed one of these seeds a ½ an inch deep just to show you how we're going to do it. There's the seed. And what you're going to do is you're going to put the pointy end down. I'm just going to push it in about a ½ an inch. And usually what I'll do is I'll just set them all on the emitters all the way down these rows, and then I'll come back and just poke them down in there, or scratch that. And that's how we do it. We just wait for that water spot to come up and we just poke it right down about a ½ inch where that is at. And since it's gonna rain, we'll cut this drip tape off as soon as we get all these done. So that's it. Let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so now we got all these direct seeded. Next thing we need to do is on these last 2 rows right here, we're going to be doing our bush beans, okay? Bush beans, I usually get about 1 to 2 or so harvests out of them, depends on how the disease or bugs are, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna save this for me and the kids to go out there and direct seed. But I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it and what varieties they are. So first, we're going to do a double row. So a double row is going to be this 1 line of drip tape, and we're going to plant on both sides of it. They're going to be about 6 inches apart, and then I'm going to plant them about 3 or 4 inches apart going down the row, all the way down, really thick. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a long handled tool, and I'm just going to poke some holes in while the kids come back and fill them in on the holes. Okay, so first up, we got the Compass Bush Bean, 54 days to maturity. It's an open pollinated variety, and on the picture it just looks like a good producer. Straight, smooth green pods with good flavor. The pods need to be 5 to 6 inches before you harvest them, or depends on what you want to harvest, really. I mean, this is just the description on what they put. Me personally, I pick them when they're almost the exact same length as a quart jar or a pint jar. So I kind of test it out and see what's better. Mainly, I just pick them the exact length of the jar, and that's pretty much how I do it. And okay, they have high resistance to anthracnose and bean mosaic virus. So I'm looking forward to these guys. I'm pretty happy with the way they look in the picture, so let's see if they deliver. All right, now here's a tried and true favorite. This has been like the 3rd year I've done this one. Momentum Bush Bean, days to maturity 55. It's a hybrid bush bean variety known for its outstanding yields and stress tolerances. It's an upright growing habit, which makes it a cleaner harvest. Dark green pods, their best harvest around 5.5 inches long. I'm sure that's probably because they may start getting woody or things like that. I mean, there's some times when you just can't get out there and you got to harvest them when you harvest them. I mean, it's all up to you, the grower. You want them to be this long? Pick them that long. You know, nobody's going to tell you what to do. You don't listen to these seed packets, right? What we're going to do is we're going to get the kids out here later, and we're going to direct seed these before the rain here soon. And then we're going to keep working in the garden before it rains. So now we wait for the rain. This is Not a Pro Gardener here. Like the video if you like the video, guys. Liking the video helps out the algorithm on YouTube and helps push my video in front of more new viewers. And I would greatly appreciate it, and I definitely want you to like it if you like it. I don't want you to like it just because I'm saying it, which would make you cool, but like the video if you like the video. Thanks for watching. This is Not a Pro Gardener here. Don't forget to ring that bell to get notified every time I come out with a new video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.